I recently bought a Karavan trailer. It was an awesome 5x10. You can see it has the steel rails and a ramp in the back. I got the trailer and immediately wanted to build up the sides and do a number of improvements, which I'm going to go into in the rest of this video. The first things that I did is mounted the wooden sides. You can see they go all the way around, about 22 inches high. They provide a place for me to screw O-rings into and things along that nature. I followed the instructions of another trailer hint out there specifically for the Karavan trailer. Things are pretty straightforward. I differed from his installation. You can tell I used zip ties to hold on by drilling through the 2x4 stake. And then I'm going to turn the camera and you can see we had to rip flatways a 2x4 to fill in the gap there. But otherwise the making is pretty straightforward. It's cut to length. I started with the back and got that in there and then did each side. And I used clamps basically to hold everything in place while I was doing the screwing with wood screws. And then once everything was in place, it wasn't necessary, but I put 2 screws rather than a clamp situation. I put 1 wood screw on each side to lock the front of the trailer wall with the side. So there's 1 on each side. The clamp setup was $22, and after it was all built, it was so rigid and had really no ability to move. So just for safety, I put in that 1 screw, but it's probably not even necessary. This is a Harbor Freight trailer box. It was a little bit too small, as you can see, to fit. I could have barely made it with a side with screws going at an angle, but I decided to put pressure treated boards underneath it, the width of the toe supports there, and then put the trailer box on top of it using self-tapping screws. These are among the very few holes that I've ever put into this trailer. I first used 3-inch self-tapping screws to go into the frame, and then I used self-tapping screws to go through the trailer box and into the wood. I like this trailer box because it's locking and it stores quite a little stuff. I'm going to have a separate coverage of all the little bonus items that I keep inside. I have a winch that I installed for heavy loads. I put it on the side like this so that the handle would not get in the way as it spins with the rail or the trailer box. And then I used a pulley to guide the hook towards in the direction of the rear of the trailer. I think for heavy loads, this is going to be awesome. I replaced the standard jack that came with the trailer with this Harbor Freight side-mounted jack because the tailgate on my truck would hit the default jack. This jack is probably not quite as good as the standard one as far as the jack support goes, but it does swivel out of the way, which actually is an improvement because people complain that the standard one on the Karavan trailers had a tendency to drag and get caught on things. If you're not familiar with E-Track, I put E-Track on both sides of the trailer, and then I got a strip for the upper rear, and then with the little cut-off ends from the width, I put one on each side, left and right in the back. And I use E-Track O-rings to put there. I also have them mounted in strategic places on the floor. But another beautiful thing about E-Track is it has the ability to put a 2x4 into a mount. I'll try to get a close-up of it. Now I can pull that and put that anywhere on the trailer. So if I'm hauling a lawnmower or something along those lines, I can put it on both sides of the lawnmower so it doesn't roll around without having to tie it down. I picked up a spare tire on Amazon. It's white. I plan, when the weather gets warmer, on following some of the guidelines, basically using an angle grinder with a steel brush to clean up and rough up the surface, and then use Rust-Oleum wheel paint to paint it black so that it matches kind of the beautiful black rims that I have that came standard on the trailer itself. I also found the mounting kit on Amazon. I had to use a couple extra boards. I think if I come in from behind, we might be able to see where I just mounted boards to the wooden sides of the trailer and was able to mount the bracket then that way. Having a spare tire is super important. 10 extra O-rings for the side of the trailer This is the left side, and I have the same things going on the right. This is for the outside, and I find the extra O-rings to be of really help when you're trying to support cross latch or do any kind of things along that nature. I noticed by now the red reflective tape. I added it in multiple places on the sides of the trailer, and then again in the back. You can't really see the back of the tailgate, but as we move all the way to the back here, you can see just a little bit there, and then on the top. So when the trailer's on the ground, you'll be able to see it. And while I'm covering that, I also installed these bumpers using galvanized screws and some locking nuts. For bonus item number 1, I've got the Vivor wheel locks. I have one on each side. They were fairly inexpensive on Amazon, and I consider this to be extremely important if I ever have to leave the trailer somewhere unattended, say on a parked street. Gorilla tongue lock is not the best lock you can get out there. They have ones now that take a puck lock in the front, but they're hundreds of dollars compared to this one. I bought it a long time ago for a different trailer, but I'm using it for this one, and provides that extra security because without the ability to use the tongue, how would you steal the trailer? Donut allows you to put the wheel into it and keep the wheel from rolling around. It pretty much then stops the trailer from rolling around. And I'm using 2 tarps with the trailer. This one is 6 by 10. It fits perfectly over the sides with about 6 inches of overlap, and I can use ball and bungee cord ties to strap it down to the rail. I could probably have gotten it onto the O-rings as well, but I have, by putting 2 of them together, I can go around the rail, and it looks nice, and it's super tight when I do that. It's just enough to get from one edge all the way to the edge of the ramp. The other tarp idea would be a full length tarp that would have the ability to have tarp on both sides and in the back, so extra length, so that I could cover that and fill the trailer with mulch and have it entirely covered with tarp. The ball bungees that I talked about that work with the tarp. I got a big red jack in case I needed to change a tire. I considered getting the scissor stabilizer jacks for the back. I might still use the leg ones, but opted for these if I ever needed to change a tire. This is just enough to lift the trailer off the ground to change the tire and put on a spare. This is available on Amazon. I forget, the 23 bucks comes in a case and keeps things organized inside the trailer box. There are E-track straps that go into the E-track, and then the typical ratcheting strap lock to tighten things up. I was going to return them, and as it turns out, the shipper said just go ahead and keep them, we don't have to send them back. So I have them now. The reason why I wanted to return them is they locked in the direction, the way that they lock into the E-track was not conducive to the way that I put down the E-track. As a reminder, I put mine in this direction, and so they'd be great for lashing something along the side like that, front to back, but I haven't really tried using it to go crisscross to see how that would work out. Levelers are ideal if you need to adjust the height of the wheel in the front of the trailer, or if you need to elevate one wheel over the other in order to make things level. Having a set inside the trailer box is super handy, and they're run fairly cheap on Amazon. A couple wheel wedges, and then you can see the yellow bungee cord with carabiners. I have to drill a hole in order for them to go on, but the plan is to put one on each carabiner, and then it's kind of a matching set for one side, and right now they're separated. There's an advantage to keeping them separate because then you can use one in each side of the trailer, but I do plan to put the carabiner in place and be able to treat it as a set for the front and back of a tire.